Yeah, now let us have a quick recap towards the classification of accounts, where the accounts are being classified into personal, real, as well as nominal. So based upon these accounts, okay, there are followed for journalizing the transactions. So as per the personal account, okay, it says debit the receiver, credit the giver. Real account says debit what comes in, credit what goes out, and the nominal account says debit all expenses and losses and credit all incomes and gains. So if you just for example, take a transaction that is to be called as purchased goods for cash. So whenever we look into a particular transaction, the transaction needs to be analyzed, and for the purpose of analyzing a particular transaction, first the student should be I mean to ask himself three questions. The first one will be whether it is a cash transaction or a credit transaction. Then followed by the second question will be what are the questions, I mean the accounts which are included in that particular transaction which is being given. So coming to the third one will be based upon the accounts which have been identified, that is maybe it can be a real, personal, or a nominal. So according to that, now the application of the rule is very important. So therefore first question is to identify whether it is a cash transaction or a credit transaction. The second question is identifying the names of the accounts which is being included in the given transaction. Third one is based upon the accounts which are included, okay, how to apply the rule. Now when it comes to for this example, that is purchased goods for cash. So according to this, there are two accounts which have been included in this particular transaction. That is, one is goods account, the other one is a cash account. So if you have to identify, okay, under which particular account these two, I mean items or accounts will be taken, goods and cash will be taken as an example of the real account. So if the application of the rule, okay, is to be made, then as per the real account, okay, debit what comes in and credit what goes out. So for this, the goods have to be debited and the cash account has to be credited, because the business is receiving the goods and simultaneously the cash is also going out of the business. So as we cannot directly debit the goods account into the books, because whenever the goods are to be considered, it can I mean it generally arises towards purchasing as well as also for selling. So there cannot be a common account in the name of the goods, because there will be a difficulty which may arise in the future towards identifying what is the total amount of the purchases which is being made by the business, as well as what is the total amount of the sales which is being done by the business. So therefore, as these two things are not the same, and as these two things have to be differentiated very well, so that is the reason we cannot prepare, or we cannot write goods as an account in the books. But goods means the stock which is being purchased. So that is what you need to understand. So for this purpose, to make it more easier to understand, whenever we buy the goods, we call it as purchases, and whenever we sell the goods, we call it as sales. So taking this into consideration, okay, so for purchases, I mean the goods, the purchases account has to be debited because the goods are coming into the business, and because it's a cash transaction, immediately the cash is also going out of the business. So for this reason, as per the credit aspect of the real account, that is credit what is going out, so therefore cash has to be credited. Now going to the next transaction, okay, sold goods for cash rupees 15,000. Now whenever, okay, this particular transaction has to be analyzed, first, as I told you all, there are three questions which you're going to ask for yourself. The first question is whether it is a cash transaction or a credit transaction. Now, if it is going to be a cash transaction, okay, cash is already been included in the given transaction. So therefore, you can very well, say this particular transaction as a cash, because the business is selling the goods, okay, and immediately it is receiving cash. So the first question has been answered. Now coming to the second question, that is what are the accounts which are included in the given transaction. So here, to know the different accounts which are included, the first one here is a goods account, okay, and the second one here is the cash account. So the first is a goods and second is a cash. So once the accounts are being identified, the third one, now when you are identifying the accounts, you should also be able to tell like under which particular account the following accounts are to be taken. So the goods as well as the cash will be taken under the real account. Okay. So for your understanding, I just would like to mention that in the brackets here. So real account, goods also in the real account and cash also in the real account. So therefore, when both the accounts of a given transaction falling under the same account, that is real account, therefore the rule is also to be applied relating to the real account. So as per the real account, debit what is coming in and credit what is going out. So by taking this particular rule into account, right? So here, when the goods have been sold, the business is receiving cash. So therefore, cash is coming into the business. So cash account debit, and the amount towards that is 15,000, followed by 2. Now, as I told you that we cannot directly write the goods, okay, or take the name of goods into the journal entry. So therefore, when the sale is taking place, we need to call it as sales. So therefore, sales account, that means goods are going out of the business in the form of sales. So therefore, the credit has to be given towards the sales. So cash account debit to sales account. And to give a narration for this, being goods sold for cash. If you want, we can also very well write the amount, okay, for towards which the sale has been made. Now coming to the third transaction, or in a third example here, I would like to take purchases, or purchased goods from Aman rupees 5,000.